Hello, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. Today, as said in the title, we are doing an unboxing of my new iPad, and later we're gonna do a Mermaid sketch, so stay tuned for that. I have timestamped this video, so if you don't want to listen to me ramble about the iPad, you can also skip to this timestamp and go straight to the sketching. Now, for those wanting to know my artist review and possibly figure out what iPad might be best for you, I'm going to be talking about the specs of each, why I chose this one, and my overall review of the iPad and the Apple Pencil. I also got a Paper-Like screen protector and a case, so I'll review those also. I found out that you can compare the iPads on the Apple website, so I'm just going to be reading off of this page. So what I got was a 2022 iPad Air 5th gen, and what I had was a 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I think it was 2nd gen, but also disclaimer, I did not pay for these in full because a bitch is broke. So I have been lucky enough to get these through my phone plan, which I do pay for that by myself. Now that we got that out of the way, so the comparison between the two, obviously the size difference. The old one that I had was the 12.9 inch and the iPad Air is 10.9. So there's definitely a 2-inch difference. The chip from the iPad Pro was a A10X Fusion chip. And the new one that I have is the M1 chip with the next gen neutral engine. Honestly, I don't know what the difference is. I don't understand the performance difference between the two, so I personally don't care. As long as it works and I'm able to draw on it, I don't really give a shit. But for those who actually care about the specs, I'm just gonna list these off to you. So the iPad Pro, you can have up to 512 gigabytes, and for the Air, you can have 256 gigabytes. Now, for the iPad Pro that I had, I got the cheapest one, which I think is the 64 gigabyte. But for the iPad Air, there's only two differences. So you can get the 64 gigabyte or the 256 gigabyte. I got the 256 gigabyte in case I wanted to edit videos. I have more space on this one than I did on the other one because that one was a struggle trying to edit some of the videos that I wanted to edit because I didn't have enough space for it. Now, I was a bit hesitant on downsizing because I wasn't sure if I would like the smaller screen, but after using this for the past couple weeks, I absolutely love it. It honestly doesn't feel too small, and it's definitely easier to take with me to places. I didn't realize how much of a hassle it was to bring my iPad Pro around with me, and I realize now that it was just way too bulky. Now, the reason why that I downsized for the iPad Air and not another Pro is because I felt like I didn't use the Pro to its full potential. I'm sure that you can look it up and see what other features that you can use on the Pro, but I wasn't using them. All I was, like I said before, was really using them for drawing and possibly editing. So I was like, maybe I should just get something a bit smaller, more compact, and kind of have the same features, if not a bit more powerful and have more space. Okay, now the Apple Pencils. So the first generation is $100 and the 2nd gen Apple Pencil is $130. My personal opinion between the two. Oh, also if you buy the 2nd gen on the Apple Store, you can get a free engraving, as you can see. It's cute. Is it necessary? Not really. I mean, you could put your name on it, but it's low-key kind of ugly to me. How about we do pros and cons? So the first generation, the material is nice, it's slick, it is a bit bigger, it does feel a bit bulkier when you use it. The con of it is how you charge it. You have to stick it in at the end. It has the lightning charging adapter connector, whatever the fuck it's called, and you have to stick it in at the end of your iPad so it just completely sticks out and it's very awkward and it looks ugly. Now the second generation is definitely lighter, shorter, and thinner compared to the first generation. The material is smooth but a little bit like textured, if that makes sense. Another pro is that you can charge it on the side of your newer iPads. Another pro is the double tap feature, which I'm surprised that I don't see a lot of artists talking about it. You double tap the side or any side of the Apple Pencil and it switches tools. So you can switch back between your pencil and your eraser. And I made a TikTok explaining how to use the double feature to switch back and forth between tools. Now, the con of the second gen is the durability. Now, I will give the first generation a pro for durability because I have dropped the first gen multiple times. The only thing that I saw was a negative result of me dropping it was that there was one side of like the tip, I'm not sure which side it is, but it wasn't able to pick up the markings that I was doing on that side. So like if I were to make a stroke, whatever side that I was on that got fucked up, it wouldn't pick up that stroke, so it would skip in my marking, which it sucks, but that was my dumbass for dropping it so many times. So when I got the second gen Apple Pencil, I was trying my best not to drop it. Of course, I dropped it. I only dropped it twice. Tell me why this bitch got 2 cracks in it and a little dent after dropping it 2 times. And this bitch is $130. I get the price of it because, you know, it has the magnetic charging strip. It has the double tap feature, but $30 more for those features is kind of annoying. And the fact that it's not even durable. So I have 2 weird cracks on the side of my pencil, which look ugly. So my review overall, I definitely like the second gen more. I just wish it was more durable like the first gen. Okay, so my Paperlike review. I got the Paperlike screen protector because I keep seeing it everywhere and all the artists on YouTube use this screen protector. So I was like, okay, let me see what the hype is about. So I got it. The price of it is $40, which is pretty expensive for a screen protector, I feel like. So this is me applying the screen protector. They have a little process video of how you do it, all that stuff, which is very helpful. I guess the selling point is to have a screen that is like a piece of paper. Now, for my iPad Pro, I had a similar screen protector. It was not paper-like though, but it did have that like grainy texture and it gave that pencil to paper sound that everybody wants. I personally don't think that this is worth the $40 for a screen protector. I feel like for a screen protector to be $40, it needs to be able to protect my screen, obviously, from damages or getting cracked. And I don't know if Paperlike screen protector actually protects your screen from cracks or anything like that. So I'm definitely not gonna test it out. I'm not gonna drop my iPad. The first like week or two that I was waiting for the screen protector to come in, I was drawing on the glass. It definitely doesn't feel good. So it does, you know, get rid of that weird glossy slick feeling, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth getting there because my iPad Pro, I had something similar, but I think it was also cheaper, but it literally did the same shit. And now I have dropped my iPad Pro maybe 2 or 3 times. No damage to the screen. I think it was perfectly fine. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I did do little clips of the comparison, trying to see how well it sounded like paper and pencil. So this is the clip of me actually drawing on with a pencil. And then this is the Paperlike screen protector. Me personally, I don't think it really gives off that nice sound effect that you want. I don't know. I think it's just hyped up too much for me personally, because the other screen protector that I had, like I said, it is cheaper, does the same shit. I don't know. That's up to you if you want to go ahead and purchase paper leg, but I definitely think that there are better dupes out there that are cheaper and gives you the same result. Now, I just got a case from Etsy. I thought that it was going to be like a hard case. I think overall the case does its job. I just think that I paid too much for the quality of it because it doesn't feel as good as the other case that I had for my Pro. And the colors definitely look different than the picture that was shown. But it definitely came out a lot darker, and the print on the case just looks a bit blurry, and it doesn't look like a nice quality print on it. So it does look cheap. It does feel kind of cheap. I paid like $25 or $27 for it. It was originally $30. I personally don't think it's worth it. Overall, the case is kind of mid. It does the job that it needs to do, but I'm gonna try my best not to drop it because it will probably fuck up my iPad. Okay, so let's start talking about the sketch. I wanted to participate in Mermaid, so I decided to do a quick little mermaid sketch. And if you don't know what Mermaid is, it's basically one of those monthly challenges where you draw a certain subject every day for that month. So for the month of May, the subject is mermaids. Now, I don't really participate in a lot of monthly challenges because I don't have enough time to dedicate to make full illustrations that most people do. I know that it's free for you to do whatever type of drawing you want to do, but a lot of people go for the full-on illustration. And this one was kind of fun, actually. I think I might just do quick sketches for those monthly challenges because it did help me not feel too pressured to make everything super perfect, and I was able to really think about other things in the sketch instead of trying to make everything that you do perfect. So like I said, I wanted to draw at least one mermaid this month because I've been wanting to participate. So with this one in particular, and in future drawings that I want to do, I want to try to put more thought into my pieces and keep in mind of wanting to tell a story and thinking of composition and shapes even though it's just a sketch. Like I've mentioned before, I have a full-time job, so when I do have the time to draw, it's usually something from Pinterest, and I think that is, I don't want to say it's a bad habit of just drawing random photographs of people, because it's good practice, but after a while it does, for me personally, get very repetitive, and I feel like it's kind of like the comfort zone, and I feel like I'm not necessarily improving in other aspects of what I want to improve on, if that kind of makes sense. Because like I can draw people, I can draw portraits, like that's just like my comfort zone, and I'm pretty sure that's most people's comfort zone. But for me, after a while it gets very repetitive and I get bored easily. So for this quote-unquote story, I'm getting a bit off track, sorry. So for this story, I wanted to show the mermaid discovering a hidden treasure and to kind of make the viewer wonder what could be inside or what led her to this treasure to begin with. And another thing that I want to start doing more, which I don't really do, is to implement more thumbnails before I actually do any full-on illustration or any type of like little small sketches like this. So I drew up a couple. I didn't record each one. I do apologize. I mean, I guess I could put like the little time lapse of each one, but each one kind of had like a theme. So one was her being curious, bored, playful. I think the curiosity one is kind of meshes with the discovery one, which is what I am drawing here now. So I ended up with that one. I tried to factor in like a guideline. I tried to think of shape language, negative shapes, and flow, but also trying to make her and the treasure the main focus. Now, trying to factor in all of these components is kind of difficult with like a small sketch like this. At least I think, because I'm not like professional in all of this. But I was trying to look up a bunch of references and inspo of other artworks, as you can see on the side, and I think it turned out pretty cute for what I kind of like cherry picked from different artworks. Now, I don't necessarily know each artist. I'm pretty sure on the posts themselves it says the artist, but I'm pretty sure you can easily find them on Pinterest if you look up mermaid artwork or mermaid concept art or mermaid illustrations. Now, another tricky thing about this piece, I'm not great with colors. I'm still learning, or I need to start learning more about colors and color theory and color palettes. So with this one, I try to do like a warm and cool mixture, I guess. So the background obviously is cool, and I try to have her be a bit, or at least her tail be vibrant. I don't know if that's the best choice. I try to make her color palette cohesive and then the background cohesive. I don't know if I personally think it looks cool. I don't know if these are the best colors to put together, but realizing now that a lot of my sketches are better when I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing, or basically it's more intuitive and winging it mostly, and that kind of contradicts everything that I said earlier about doing the pre-planning and thinking about all these different components as I'm sketching, and it's like a work in progress for me. With that being said, I think I've rambled long enough. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rant for like 20 minutes. But again, thank you so much, and I will let the time lapse do its thing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.